Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. It's Christmas time. There's no need to be afraid. At Christmas time, you put in Donny and you take out Fred. No, I wouldn't take Fred out. I'd take McTominay out. Look, on a serious note, welcome to the show. This is your Christmas United Stand preview. It's Manchester United's trip to Newcastle. Got lots to discuss. How will Rangnick line up? What will Newcastle do? Because they are a bit crap, to be honest. And will COVID have any impact over the next few days, I suppose, as well? Lots to discuss. Let's fly into it. And because it's a preview, of course, we are sponsored by Ultimate Fan Fantasy League app, which we love to do on the preview. And if you didn't know what Ultimate Fan is all about, well, you can play it and you can win big cash prizes if you are over 18. Ultimate Fan is a fancy football with a twist. Imagine fancy football combined with super cool pack openings. The game is super simple to play. All you've got to do is be over 18 and download the app totally for free using the link in the description. Follow the super simple sign-up system, and then you'll be able to start opening packs and filling in your team for this coming weekend. There's also Ultimate Fan Plus for you to explore. This section features paid for gold and silver packs where you can receive extra cards, exclusive content, and much, much more. And each week there are prizes available for the teams that perform well, and this week's prize pool is 8,500. So basically, links in the description. Over 18, you open your packs, you get a team to put out. As you can see on the screen, I'll go through mine in a minute, and you accumulate points for their performance. So as always, if you want to check out my team, we've posted a pic on the United Stand Twitter page at United Stand MUFC, and if you head over there, make sure to drop your screenshots of your team in the comments for us to check out. And if you want to take part in this awesome week's game, then hit the link in the description below, as I say, and you can start playing Ultimate Fan today. Thanks again to Ultimate Fan for supporting United Stand, and now on with the rest of the show. And we move straight into the Newcastle game, which is absolutely huge. Now, I do have concerns. I've got to say, I've got my concerns before, and it's nothing to do with the team lineup. It's to do with the league table. Newcastle have played 18 games. They've got 10 points. They're joint bottom with Norwich, who've played 17 games. They're 1 point off Burnley, who've played 3 games less. I mean, the reality is that Newcastle could really probably do with not having this game, because they have, we know they're going to spend money in January, and we know that, they're going to have a better team in January when they do spend money, although it won't be easy for them. So I do still have slight concerns about this game, but hopefully it will go ahead. And if it does go ahead, as you can see, that is my team on the screen. Now, what I would say about Newcastle is that I looked at their home record, and despite the fact that they are second from bottom, and they are second from bottom in the home record, and that's basically how teams have performed home this season. They would be 11th in the league for goals scored at home. They've scored 12 goals at home, which is a lot more than 8 teams below them in relation to goals scored at home. However, they would be bottom of the league for goals conceded. I think they've conceded 21. So you can expect goals in this game, and we should definitely expect 3 points. Now, I can look at the chat, and a lot of people are saying, where's Donny in the team, and this, that, and the other. Let's talk about this United team. I can see people going on about Luke Shaw as well. Look, the reality is there were very, very strong indications that Donny van der Beek and Luke Shaw were going to play in that game against Brentford. And I almost need to take you back a couple of weeks when we played Norwich, and we beat Norwich, but we played very badly. And I think this 2 games that we've not had against Brentford and Brighton, as I said it would, it's masked that performance. We've forgotten that performance because it was 2 weeks ago. It's like when you have an international break and you play crap before the international break, and then you're just excited to be back after the international break. The freshness of that turd performance against Norwich, because it wasn't good, and United players, manager, everybody accepted that. It's not wrong to say we were bad against Norwich. We were really bad, and if Norwich could, finish their dinner, they would have got something out of that. They deserved something out of that game. We know we did. We know they did. So there was going to be changes because, it was a very quick turnaround playing Saturday night to Tuesday night against Brentford. So, and Donny van der Beek and Luke Shaw were very, 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 very heavily linked to starting that game. Now, obviously, they didn't start that game because we didn't play that game, and now 2 weeks have passed. And I personally think Donny will miss out. I think McTominay and Fred will play. I think Bruno and Sancho will play. And I think Cavani is a really interesting one up front, and a lot of you saying, well, let's start Cavani, but Cavani's a very interesting one because I think I would start Cavani, but has Cavani ruined his chances now by the fact that he's potentially pushing for a move like Martial is, and therefore by default Rashford goes into the team, who's a player for the future, and probably quite rightly so. Rashford's here to build a future at United. Martial and Cavani probably don't. So I think that The spine of the team is pretty much straightforward. De Gea in goal. Maguire we know will play. And I do agree with the Harry Maguire thing. I think, he does start too many games and his reputation is probably a little bit unfair compared to an Eric Bailly and a Lindelof, who, in their own way, yeah, they've made mistakes. People can say Eric Bailly always got a mistake in him. People can say Lindelof sometimes gets bullied. Yes, they do. But Harry Maguire makes a lot of mistakes as well. But Harry Maguire is going to start. And I don't know whether it's because he's club captain. I don't know whether it's because he's £80 million. I don't know whether it's because he's English. I don't know whether it's because in the training ground they think he's got more potential than Bailly and Lindelof. But the reality is he will start. And I think Varane will start this game. I think Varane's been coming back to fitness for a few weeks now. There's no reason not to throw him into this game, and that will solidify our back four. So I think it will be Harry Maguire and Varane. I think it will be Fred and McTominay. I think it will be Sancho and Bruno, and I think it will be Ronaldo and Rashford, and I think that will be the spine with obviously De Gea in goal. Whether we then see rotation against Burnley at home, maybe we do. I mean, to be honest with you, Newcastle away, Burnley at home, they should be 6 points. I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to my Christmas dinner tomorrow. I'm looking forward to my turkey sandwiches on Boxing Day, and then I'm looking forward to giving Newcastle a stuffing the day after. But I am. I'm here all week. But no, I am. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to Manchester United winning this game. I think we will beat Newcastle. The interesting thing will be the fullbacks. I personally think Delo will keep Wan-Bissaka out at right back, but I think Luke Shaw will come in for Telles at left back. And I think that, I know there's people out there going, I don't like Luke Shaw, I prefer Telles. And to be honest, if I had to choose between the two, and I won't sit down and not be honest, I would go with Luke Shaw over Telles. But what I like is, and I don't do this with this squad at the moment, I think in the coming weeks and months I will start to do it, but I have given everyone a clean slate. Now, I am suspicious about certain players, and you'll know who they are, but I have given them all a clean slate. And what I like about the fullback situation at the moment is, if he did go with Wan-Bissaka and Telles, I wouldn't cry about it, but I think he'll go with Delo and Shaw. And I like all four. I do. I think Delo is finally getting the game time many of you wanted him to have, and I've got to shout out the community in the chat, because I'm not on any other bloody websites or channels or anything like that, so I only know what you're saying, and you have been on about Delo for a long time. All I said about Delo is that Ollie didn't rate him, and he didn't, and Ollie was trying to get rid of him, and he was. But now there's a new world, and he's played really well, and I think he deserves to hold on to the place, because I don't think Wan-Bissaka's had the best of seasons, but I think he can bounce back. At left back, I actually think Luke Shaw wasn't particularly bad before he got the concussion. He's not had a great season, but recent form wasn't too bad. And I think Telles has played really well. Will Telles have enough to keep Luke Shaw out? I think I'm going to go with Shaw starting, but it could easily be Telles. So we'll wait and see. But I want to see competition, and I want to see some rotation there as well. Very, very important players in this system when we're going to play 4-2-2-2. The fullbacks are really important. So, can Delo and Telles play 3 games in a week? I don't think they can. And I don't think they're going to be able to do that through January. So it's very important. And Rangnick will be very aware that he doesn't make the mistakes that Solskjaer did, where he burns, last season he basically burnt Luke Shaw into the ground and never played Telles. Rangnick will have to think about, well, I've got FA Cup games, I've got, Brentford and Brighton should be getting rearranged in January. I don't know when we're going to hear about that, but that should be happening really soon. And therefore rotation in them fullback positions will be very key. But Newcastle are going to struggle. They're not a very good team. I personally think Newcastle would be Newcastle are pretty relegated. That doesn't mean they've put makeup on or anything to get relegated. They're not having a party. But I think that they are pretty much relegated, apart from the fact that when you look at the league table, they're not cut adrift. 10 points on Christmas Day, which is what they're going to have, is terrible. Absolutely terrible. You play 38 games and they've played 18. So after Manchester United, they'll be halfway through the league with 10 points. That would mean to get to 40 points, they'd have to take 30 in the second half of the season, which is just not going to happen. So I think Newcastle's only 40 points is always the magic number to stay up. If you get 40 points, you can pretty much expect to stay up. But I think this season, judging by how bad Norwich are, and there's a few teams down there, you might get away with staying up with 32 points. You just don't know. So Newcastle's saving grace is that no one's pulling away from them yet, but I think they're going to go down. I don't think they can buy their way out of this way. And it's interesting. So in relation to the game, I want to come back to Newcastle and United in a minute on transfers, because it's quite interesting. But in relation to the game, I can see United winning this I mean, are United capable of winning a game 3 or 4-0? The only reason you would say no is because we're not really that sort of team. But that's under Ollie. This is under Rangnick. I think the way we played in that first half an hour against Palace, we replicate that against Newcastle. I think we can win the game 3 or 4-0. But a warning sign. And I can hear people saying it. I can see people saying it in the chat. Well, you're talking very arrogantly about Newcastle here, Mark. Did we not just go to Norwich 2 weeks ago, who are also down near the bottom with Newcastle? Why would Newcastle not have, Norwich were right down the bottom and they played us off the park for a long period of time at Carrow Road. Why can Newcastle not do the same? And I would say to those people, you know what, you're right. I doth my cap to you. You are absolutely correct. And the scary thing about Newcastle is, if you can be scared of Newcastle, I mean, they're like a bloody zebra crossing. It's just walk across to 3 points. But, I've done that one before, but if we gift Newcastle the opportunities that we gifted Norwich, they have got the people who can score those goals. Because when you look again at the league table, which I'm about to do now, this interesting fact, which I wasn't prepared for, is that Newcastle have actually scored 18 goals this season. Norwich have scored 8. Norwich are the worst team in the league by a very long way for goals scored. And we saw that at Carrow Road. They've only scored 8 goals. They're the only team. 8 goals from 17 games Norwich have scored. They're the only team in the Premier League to not hit double figures. And Newcastle have scored 10 more. So if we play like we did against Norwich and give Newcastle some opportunities, they would probably win that game. So we can't play as bad as we did against Norwich, but I don't think we can play that bad anyway. And I think the fact that we haven't played for a couple of weeks will be a little bit like that Palace game. So I can see us winning this. With Varane back as well, I think we'll be better at the back. So I can see us winning this. I can see it being a similar scoreline to the one at Old Trafford, So I'm going to go 4-1. I think we will win. I don't think Newcastle can cause as many problems unless we turn up and play really badly. But it's going to be interesting because I know we were talking about this last night with Levin and Adam and Beth. The evolution of Manchester United's team is really going to be very interesting because I still look at that team and I go, is that the team that's going to take us to 4th place this season? And I think people will be saying, you're going to get people over the weekend saying, well, where's Lingard and where's Donny and where's Bailly and where's Tellez and where's Cavani, and I get all that, and I think that evolution is going to be really interesting because I don't see that team as the team that Rangnick's going to stick with for the rest of the season, because that's basically Ollie's team. I mean, that is basically Ollie's team. You shift Sancho to the right, Rashford to the left, you put Bruno at 10 on his own, and it's a 4-2-3-1. That is Ollie's team, apart from Dalot. So I don't think Rangnick's really going to be about that, but we'll have to wait and see what he does. But I think United will win 4-1. But what is interesting is that Newcastle would love Dean Henderson. They'd love Donny van der Beek. They'd love Jesse Lingard. They'd love Anthony Martial. They'd love Edison Cavani. The 5 players that probably won't start. Eric Bailly, I think I've said him. There's a few players that they would love from Manchester United. But would any of those players from United go there? And I only pose that question because it's Christmas time and it's the time of giving, and but it's whether any of our United fringe players, if they are fringe players, would fancy that. And it's like Beth said last night with Lingard. Maybe Newcastle's the only option for him, the only club that's going to give us money and pay him the wages he knows he'll get in the summer. The trouble with Jesse is, I've just said there, I think Newcastle should basically be relegated. So 29 years of age, yeah, you're on good money at Newcastle, probably their star player and a part of a very exciting evolution, but can you afford to be in the Championship next year when you want to go to a World Cup? So maybe that's a reason for Lingard not to go to Newcastle. But I personally think, actually, Lingard going to Newcastle, if they get a cup... I tell you what, I'll be fair to Newcastle here. Because it's Christmas, I'll give you a minute more than we normally give anybody in a preview. But to be fair to Newcastle, if they got Lingard and then they got a decent striker and a decent defender, centre-back, I'd give them half a chance of staying up. I think they probably would, but we'll have to wait and see. But I think the interesting thing about this game, and Rangnick said it himself, is that we're going into it. There's 2 big things I wanted to talk about now. We're going into this game, we've got no injuries apart from Paul Pogba. So he's going to have to leave people at home. Now, they've got Christmas Day off. Rangnick said they're going to train today, Christmas Day off tomorrow, back training on Boxing Day, and then up to Newcastle for the game. Please don't get it called off with COVID. But we won't be getting it called off. It'll be Newcastle. But presuming that game does go ahead, and there's every indication that it will do, who's getting left at home? Because even if you name 9 subs, we've got everyone back now. And again, I've said this so many times. How does he keep people happy when he's leaving them at home for the festive period? And look, if you're left at home, will you even make the bench for the Burnley game? Maybe he's got to leave Martial at home because Martial's going to be allowed to go. Or does he do the opposite thing and say, he's had that chat with Martial this week, is he now going to bring him to the Newcastle game and get him involved to say, look, I want you part of it? It's a very interesting, what I'm trying to say is a very interesting, 2 really interesting things. First of all, who's getting left at home? Because that's a big indication. I mean, look, I think Lingard will be on the bench. And Lingard will probably be happy to do that till the summer and then see what happens. But imagine if he wasn't on the bench. Imagine if Rangnick sent him and, put Hannibal Mabry on the bench, who trained the other day and did well for Tunisia. And basically said, look, not putting you on the bench. You're not signing a new contract, I'm not putting you on the bench. That won't happen, but that would be a strong message that I think certain people, certainly Adam, would be like applauding it. What if he puts Martial on the bench? And he's like, I want you to get involved. I don't want you to go to Sevilla. Or Cavani starts him up front with Ronaldo. I don't want you to go to Barcelona. I want you to stay here. So big decisions around that maybe people aren't really aware of, but you only learn these. This is the great thing about having everybody fit, because our squad's too big. So you learn a lot by who gets left out. And certainly when you're naming, is it 7 subs they name or is it 9? I can't remember, but it's a lot of subs. But if you're naming that many subs and then you leave a Mata or a Martial out, they're not starting against Burnley. You're not going to not be on the bench for Newcastle and then start against Burnley. So we'll learn big things from this game, or the Burnley game, based on how and who he selects. Because if you're trying to keep people at the club, you get them involved. If you've accepted they're going, you don't. So be interesting to see what he does that. And then, of course, the second thing as well. We are, when you look at the league table again, if you've got time, we are currently in 6th place with 27 points, 5 points behind Arsenal. Now, Arsenal's next couple of games don't really concern me massively, but they're playing Norwich on Sunday. So we could be 8 points behind Arsenal before we even kick off against Norwich. And that, again, psychologically, points over games in hand is very important. And Arsenal's next game after that, I believe they've got Wolves at home. So, we've got winnable games, but those games against Brentford and Brighton, we need to play them ASAP, because what it is doing is just allowing a bit of momentum to start building for these teams. And of course, someone's just said it in the chat. What about Spurs, Mark? What about Spurs? Spurs at home to Palace and then away to Southampton. But the interesting thing about Spurs is that in the league, they are they've got a game in hand on us. And they've got 3 games in hand in Arsenal. So they're not going to win all 3, but if they win their game in hand on us, they go 2 points ahead of us as well. So it's very interesting how I think it's just a really exciting time. It's not interesting, it's an exciting time. If you look at January transfer window on the horizon, which we've spoken about this morning, lots of games in hand, cups, Champions League in February, Atletico Madrid, massive squad, players leaving, players needing to come in, big decisions need to be made, and we're playing catch up. It feels a bit like, I think when Rangnick first came in, we were sort of in a position where 4th place was ours if we really wanted to just, click into gear. But losing these 2 games that Arsenal won has put a bit of pressure on us, and it means we're playing catch up again. So we need that focus, we need that drive, we need that professionalism, and I think we will get it. And we're going to have to beat Newcastle and Burnley, and then hopefully the Wolves game will go ahead and take 9 points from the next 9. But I wouldn't be surprised. What I'm trying to say is, even if we win our next 3, I'd still expect us to probably still be 5 points behind Arsenal. Although I think they have got Man City on the horizon. So it could take us a little bit of time, but I think we're going to have to win a lot of games between now and May to get top 4, because as I've said a week ago, Arsenal and Spurs are not in Europe now. They can very much focus game to game. And the trouble with this Premier League is that, realistically, the way I look at it with United at the moment is that if we can find some form, I think the only games we really need to worry about probably is City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, Spurs. I think we can beat anybody else. But that's going to be the same for Arsenal as well. We need to get the points on the board. We need to start putting a bit of pressure on them. And I think if we can use this big squad correctly and Rangnick can make the right decisions, which hopefully he can, I think United will be in a strong position. But we'll have to just wait and see. But I'm very excited about it. So I think Man United will win 4-1. And I think we need to start building towards what Rangnick's best 11 is going to be. Because I think that at the moment, I'm not convinced. Well, it might be his best 11, but apart from Delo, that's Ollie's best 11. I don't even know if he'll stick with that formation, but I think January transfer window. Look, I would love to see Donny van der Beek playing instead of Fred or McTominay in this game. I would love to see Cavani playing up front instead of Rashford. And I would love to see a bit of pressure on Maguire at centre-back, although I probably would start him with Varane for this game. Because I think that doesn't mean if you took McTominay out for Van der Beek and you took Rashford out for Cavani, doesn't mean McTominay and Rashford are in the bin. Wan-Bissaka's not in the bin. Luke Shaw's not in the bin. They've just got pressure on their spot, and that's what I want to see. We never saw it under Ollie. We never saw any other players getting a fair crack of the whip. And if Maguire had a bad game against Newcastle, I'd like to see Eric Bailly or Lindelof start with Varane against against Burnley and give him a run. That's what I want to see under Rangnick, and it'd be interesting to see if we see it. Anyway, please smash a like on the video. It's Christmas time. I hope you're all having a fantastic time. We've got some content coming up for you tomorrow, a couple of videos, I think, and then obviously I'll be back live Boxing Day morning. With the morning show. No morning show tomorrow live because it is Christmas Day, but I hope you're having a great time. You can check out what I'm up to. I'll be active on Twitter at Mark Goldbridge. There's always time to type something when I'm chewing on a Quality Street and sipping on a whiskey. And check out my Instagram as well at Goldbridge Mark. I'll be out and about a bit. Might even have a Christmas walk, W-A-L-K. But most of all, thank you to all of you lot. Peace and goodwill. I hope you have a joyful and triumphant Christmas, and I hope you dip into United Stand with some of the treats we've got for you tomorrow as well. I think you'll enjoy them, and I'm really looking forward to getting the football back and interacting and being live with you again, which is what we've always tried to be on this channel. So very much, it's been a challenging last 18 months. Some of us have lost people, some of us have been ill ourselves. And this community's been a really strong thing for us all. So long may that continue. Merry Christmas, peace to all, and I'll speak to you all tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Take care.